what to write about. Trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist, am I worth anything or just discount? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
That was great sounds of Wata with Outside on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Preston, with my partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made, EZ BlueZ is in the building. EZ BlueZ, you're better with introductions more than me. Who do we have with us today on the program?
Ladies and gentlemen, has there ever been a moment where you were like, whoa, take it back? It's a cold world out there, but you got it like that. Understand that when Big Van Vader is coming to your door, that your love is for granted, and it's all about the chase and the handles. And that is one of the most important things. For that and for that alone, I want you to put your hands together for the masked man. The man, the myth, the legend on tour right now with our good friend, Wata. Welcome, Sin Alma.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. That was a great introduction. My gosh.
Welcome. Welcome. Well, I know something, we like to really give that to you guys, to you coming in. You know, a lot of people don't do interviews all the time, and they can be sort of nervous. So I want to give you the energy and show you how much we appreciate you. That's why I got some of your song titles and I worked it into, into the actual introduction itself.
You got all the bangers. Appreciate that.
Of course. Now, for those who don't know, you are a musician. You are a musician from California?
Yes, from California. I'm from the San Fernando Valley, which is, northern LA, probably the most northern part of LA City. Silmar, California, to be exact. But yeah, San Fernando Valley, LA.
Okay,
That's
and
awesome.
now the $600 million question for those who are not watching through the actual Facebook or any of the other places we are video. You're wearing a mask.
I am.
What is the mask? What is the meaning of the mask, and what is the meaning of the mask for you?
So the mask, basically, it's custom. I have an SA up here for Alma. I have the name on the back of the mask as well. It's, what it represents for me is basically just that Mexican American culture. Growing up as a kid, I loved wrestling. I still do to this day. I watch it all the time. Every Friday, if I'm not out doing shows or out with my friends, I'm watching Friday Night SmackDown.
Mhm.
So, it's just bringing that part of myself into my music as well. I looked up to Rey Mysterio when I was a kid because growing up, like I didn't really see too much Mexican representation in media. So like that was my superhero, like when kids are younger, they look up to Spider-Man, they look up to Superman, Batman. I looked up to Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero. Like those were my guys. So I wanted to make sure when I kind of revamped myself a few years ago that I brought that with me.
Right. No, it's so cool, and both Preston and I are huge wrestling fans. So the fact that you're paying tribute to the luchadors out there, and the real history of the luchador and the mask is just so super important to professional wrestling as a whole. I just really dig it, and I know, like in talking to you and the way that you talk about it, your eyes light up. It's more than a gimmick for you; it's actually a part of your personality. And I just want to make sure, because hey, I'm all for it if it's just a gimmick too, because hey, man, make that money.
Now we live in our gimmicks over here.
Right.
Yeah, at every show, I mean, I don't off the mask. There's people who have known me for a couple years now, seeing me at different shows. They don't know what I look like under this. I come to the show with the mask on. I don't take it off until I'm in my car on my way home. Because I definitely can't drive in this thing.
No, you can't.
No, your peripherals
I can't even see.
shot.
Like I can't see down. I can only see.
Oh my goodness.
Straight ahead. It's a little scary sometimes walking downstairs.
Yeah. Now, can you imagine flipping around in something like that?
I couldn't. I've been to a few indie shows, Lucha Libre shows out here in LA.
Yeah.
And bro, I perform, I'll get in the ring and I'll perform my music. But I couldn't even imagine running those ropes, let alone getting on the top rope, jump in, doing a Spanish fly off the top. Yeah. No, that's insane. Those guys, much respect to them.
And that's one of the cool things is it's a matter of respect, and the mask is so big in the respect of of Mexican American culture, and it's so big
Mhm.
in the respect of Mexican wrestling culture. I
Yeah,
just I dig every aspect of it. So, what
appreciate
got
it.
you started in music and in hip hop in particular?
It's been a long grind. I started when I was in middle school. You know, in middle school, that's kind of when you're like discovering your music taste. You're listening to what's popular, but you also want to kind of find your own identity.
Hmm.
Um, so I used to listen to a lot of I would say like alternative kind of pop punk music. Like
Mhm.
I love Nirvana. It's my favorite band
Hmm.
of all time. Blink 182, Misfits, Slipknot, Sublime. So I was listening to a lot of that stuff. I wanted to play guitar originally.
Mhm.
So, I picked it up. I learned a few songs, but it just wasn't really like I didn't really feel it that that's what I wanted to do, in the long run. I loved writing. That was always my favorite thing. I loved writing, so I would write these songs, and eventually they kind of turned into these raps, which is kind of funny because I didn't listen to rap music that much like in middle school.
Mhm.
I grew
Hmm.
up listening to it. It was always around, like my family, you know, growing up on in LA, the Valley, like you grow up with Snoop Dogg, you grow up with Tupac, you grow up with all kinds
Right.
of, that 90s West Coast hip hop,
Right.
along with like Biggie
Mhm.
and then whatever was popular at the time.
Yeah.
But I started writing these things and they just felt less like, sing-songy. They felt more like raps
Mhm.
or
Right.
poetry.
Mhm.
So I kind of just stuck with that, man. I kept writing, I kept getting better. At least I like to think so. Um, and it just turned into something completely different, Now I like to think of myself less of just a rapper, more of someone who creates these anthems and these songs that people can live to, people can get ready to go out to parties to, people can, play while they're going to the gym, get them fired up, pumped up, that's what it turned into for me at least.
Right. That's
Yeah.
actually incredible because you can see how it all happens there massively organically. That's
Mhm.
where things need to go and need to come from, which that's great. And also now, are you guys in a tag team or is this a one off or what's
Oh
going on? Because
nah, man.
there's merchandise with pins and stuff,
Yeah, we
and you
got
guys
the
look like a
merch.
superhero duo going on.
Yeah,
So
nah,
you
man.
you,
That's
you
that's
meet
my
Wata
brother right
at
there.
a open mic.
Yeah, so we met at members only open mic, which is out here in LA in North Hollywood. And it was it was it was a thing of like I never had open mics before. I had done shows around, where I'm from, the San Fernando Valley, LA, out into the Orange County, of California. And for me, it felt like I wasn't really getting anywhere with them. Like I
Right.
was performing for the same people, and that kind of seemed counterproductive for me. So I was like, you know what? I seen a few open mics popping up. I was like, let me just try it out. So I show up to this members only open mic, and I was really considering not going that night. Like I was considering just staying home and just, I don't need these open mics. I'm above that type of thing. My ego getting in the way. But I left my ego at the door, got in there, met a lot of great people that night. That first night I was there, I performed. I think I was second,
Mhm.
Okay.
and I got a great crowd reaction to one of my songs. And after that, this guy, big afro, curly hair, comes up to me. He's wearing all black. He got a black hoodie, black pants,
Okay.
hands me uh like a business card. He's like, "Oh, hi, I'm Huata." I'm like, "Oh, nice to meet you, bro." I'm thinking at the time, because he hasn't performed yet, I'm thinking, "Oh, this guy's just another rapper. You know what it is. Like, I'll listen to his music. I'll check him out." But I really wanted to see, everyone perform. And
Yeah.
then he gets up on stage and he's singing in Spanish. He's doing like a reggaeton track. And I
Mhm.
was like,
Mhm.
wow. It was just so different from everybody else I had seen perform at that point. Like
Right.
mostly everyone there was a rapper. And you kind of get with rappers, you kind of get lost in the shuffle. I find it with myself too, but that's why I try and, stand out with the mask and all that. But when you see someone with some talent, some stage presence, you can get a
Right.
whole crowd who is just there to be seen, to just stop and look at you. That was what Hoato was doing. So I was like, yeah, I got to work
Right.
with this guy on something, you know? I don't know what
Mhm.
that would turn into, but we got to work on something. And then from there, man, we just, we built that relationship. We hung out. We would go to different open mics together.
Hmm.
We would, just chill as friends, outside of music. Like him and I are really good friends. And now, we're on tour, the Luchadores tour, going out to the East Coast. My first time on the East.
Mhm.
I'm super excited for that. And we're gonna show the world why we deserve that planetary championship.
It's a
Does he
great
let you
title.
hold the belt? Yeah,
Yeah.
does he let you hold the belt?
Let me, yes. We
I just want
gotta
to make
represent
sure.
together. Yeah, of course. Come on, I'm the champ, bro. I usually come with my own belt. I usually come with my own belt. But when he made that, I was like, nah, I'm gonna leave that one at home. We gotta share that one. Last night we performed our song Luchadores that's coming out soon.
Right.
Mhm.
We performed that for the first time, and yeah, we had the belt. He had it for his verse, handed it to me for the second verse, and
Hmm.
man, it was great just having that around my shoulder. It felt natural. You feel me?
That's awesome. That is awesome. So now that now you're taking this out on tour and different things, you guys are obviously going to be doing, one set on, one set off, and then doing the song together. Are you doing it at the end of your set, or the beginning of Wata's set, or halfway through
Ooh.
Wata's set?
So that new song, Luchadores, we're doing it at the end of Huata set.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, that's the last song that we perform
Okay.
together, and we go out with a bang, bring the championship belt out,
nice,
let the world see it.
nice. And if anyone wants anything else to know about that, you got to show up to the shows.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Y'all
you gotta show up
support.
to the shows because that song's not gonna be on any streaming services until after the tour. But if y'all want to hear it, we got these pins. It's me and Hoata holding up the championship belt. We selling them. With that, you get a download card for the song before anybody else gets it.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Any rap battles defending the title?
Oh, I would be open to it.
Yeah.
I've
Ooh.
I've never been much of a battle rapper. Even like growing
Mm.
up, like with my friends, we mess around, we
Gotcha.
freestyle, like we might, throw a couple digs at each other, but
Hmm.
I've never really I respect it. That's always what it is because I'm a fan of it, growing up
Right.
watching like Disaster,
Hmm.
what Arsenal,
Yeah.
what Roan, like all these guys, Dumbfounded. That was like
Hmm.
the first battle rapper I ever watched.
Right.
So, I respect it. I just don't know if it's something I could do. Like just memorizing that many bars and all these like double entendres and just the wordplay is crazy.
Speaking of crazy wordplay, I'm reading different titles for different wrestlers and maneuvers that you have within your songs.
Okay.
Obviously, we know the inspiration behind that, and like I'm seeing titles like Big Van Vader, and I'm seeing titles like Handles. How was the creative process just with those songs? And was it hard just picking the name just for the particular track in mind? Did you like see a match one day, like, yo, okay, that has to be inspired from a song like right there and right now? Just tell me a little bit about that.
So with the Big Van Vader one, um, during, pandemic lockdown and
Hmm.
all that, like
Yeah.
I wasn't let go from my job, fortunately,
Oh
but
man.
I wasn't. They were still paying
Yeah.
me, but I was
Okay,
at
okay,
home.
gotcha.
Yeah, they were
Gotcha.
still
I
paying me,
gotcha.
but I was at home.
All right.
So like, thankfully, right, I still had a job, but they weren't having us do anything because I work, day job outside of the mask. I work at a school.
Yeah, I understand, I understand.
Um, yeah, so there was just nothing for us to do, but we still
Hmm.
got those paychecks coming in. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I have time now. Like I
Hmm.
have all the time on my
Yeah,
hands. Let's make the most of it. I know
of
this is
course.
a horrible situation going on in the world, but let's finally, you have the time, you have the energy. Let's make some music.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So I got, my laptop open. I started making beats, and I had this one beat that the bass on it was just hitting hard. I was like, "Ooh,
Hmm.
to come really strong with this one." And at the time, I had just I have different colors of this same mask. So
Oh,
I have a
cool.
Right.
black and red one. I
Hmm.
was like, "Ooh, that's like," it reminded me of Vader, because he had the
Hmm.
black and the red. He was a big dude. I'm a big dude. He was masked up all the time. So I was like, okay, this one's for Big Van Vader right here. I gotta come hard. I gotta, come strong with it, hard hitting, crazy flows. So that was the inspiration for that one.
Hmm.
Handles is less. I got some wrestling references in that song.
Hmm.
I think I say 2 drinks in my hand, stone cold with it in that one. Yeah. But that was just more that was more about like handling business,
I
like
Mhm.
understand.
yeah, it's a more of a West Coast hip hop type of song. Um I just like talking my trash on there, cutting promos on people and really, being cocky on those type of tracks. So
Right.
that's really what that came from. But I throw those wrestling references in just about every single one of my songs, I
Mm,
think. I you know I have to. I can't just be the rapper up there with the luchador mask and
I
not
understand.
talk a
Right.
little bit about wrestling.
Well, no, that's the whole thing. Is that's why I said before. Whether it was just a gimmick or something that you actually are living through, and they always say in professional wrestling, you always work the gimmick. You live
Always.
the gimmick. You have to
Exactly.
live the gimmick. So the fact that you don't take the mask off until you're on your way home from a show. Now of course we have to know because you said he's like your bestest friend in the world. Has Wata seen you without the mask?
Yeah, Walter has seen me
Oh,
without
okay,
the
all right.
mask.
Because if not, man, I was gonna say you might bring all the masks. 'Cause those things can get funky. And you
Oh,
got to go like a week in travel. And I
I
can you
got
even
three
get
of them.
through airport
I
with that?
got I hope so. I haven't even tried it yet. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
People can't see, but I got these 2 other ones right here with me, blue
nice.
and red.
That's
Got
cool.
the gold one. I used to
Nice.
have a black and white one, the original
Hmm.
one that I started with,
Right.
but I
Mhm.
lost that at a friend of mine's album listening party.
Oh man.
I don't know. That's why I stopped taking off the mask
Hmm.
Right.
because I had taken off the mask there and I had it like in my pocket, but I guess it wasn't all the way in, so it fell out at
Mhm.
some point. I retraced I never found it, so I have to reorder that one. That was a classic black and
That was
white. It looks good with everything.
well, that was classic. And if there's anyone who took the mask, bring it back, and will there be no questions asked? If we just happen to show up one day and it's there,
It was in
we
Hollywood, so
respect
I
it.
feel like some like a homeless dude might just be walking around with the Seen Alma mask, like just
Needs to stay warm.
chilling. Yeah, and you know what? That's fine. If that's what it's for, you can have it, bro.
There you go.
That's that's the least I could do.
I respect that answer. I respect that answer. See, I was gonna be like, yeah, you dropped it off in Hollywood, so there's some rich, pretentious so and so who
No,
is holding on to it, and we hope bad things upon him as we eat the rich.
yeah. I mean, that would be best case scenario, I guess. Yeah, walking down Hollywood is not all that. It's
No,
it's
no.
it's mostly the
Well, that
crazy stuff.
well, see, that's one of the most interesting things, and that's what we love about doing the show. Being on the East Coast, talking to people on the West Coast,
Right.
is the culture shock of it all, and we've got to see Wata kind of like change with the culture shock. To be honest, it seems like he was kind of made to be out there.
Oh,
Um,
for sure.
so
Especially in the
much
area that
more.
he's at. Like he's
Right,
I really, I don't know if I should be putting this out there. He's in Santa Monica,
right. Ooh,
which is by the beach. And
right,
when I first when we first started talking, I was like, this guy has a really like beachy vibe. Like I
Mm,
would have never thought he wasn't from here.
right,
The way he dresses, his vibe, just everything about him. Like I would have thought he was from California.
mm.
But then
right.
he starts talking about the East Coast. You're like, oh yeah, this guy's from Connecticut. He's from, he's been in New York. He's
Right.
for sure East Coast boy.
No, definitely, definitely. So now, what is that like blending the two styles for you?
Um, it was definitely different. Like I didn't know what that would sound like at first because his music is completely different from what I make. He's not a rapper. He does more, I would say, alternative Latin fusion. Um, but I always tell him, you can rap. He thinks he can't rap, but I'm like,
Right.
you can rap when you
Mm.
speak in Spanish. That's coming
Hmm.
from the heart. That's where you feel it. When you're speaking Spanish and you're rapping, that's when all the bars come out. I was like, I think that's what, I think that's what we gotta do. You gotta rap in Spanish, bro. So he had sent me like a couple previews to what he was working on,
Right.
and he was trying to rap in English.
Mhm.
But at the end of his verse, he had a Spanish, maybe like a 4 bar Spanish setup. I was like, I think you need to stick with that, bro. Like, that's what this is gonna have to be. He's like, I don't know. Like, do you think that, a lot of people will understand it? I'm like, it doesn't matter if they understand it, they're gonna feel it.
Mhm.
So, because with
Exactly.
me, I am Mexican American, but my Spanish isn't great. Like, I don't speak
Mhm.
it very well. I understand it, but I'm not great at speaking it. But I listen to a lot of Spanish music,
Mhm.
and a lot of the time, I understand it, I get the gist of it, but it's more of a feeling. So that's what he stuck to the Spanish, and I think it came out great. I think a lot of people, we've gotten a few reactions from it. We had a listening party. Everyone loved it. When we performed it last night, crowd was going crazy. So yeah,
And it's a
that I mean,
positive
I think that's
vibe.
how we come together. Yeah,
Definitely.
that's how we came together. I mean, you always make it work.
Mhm.
We're in his room writing the hook together,
Mhm.
and that was a part of the song that we were really struggling with because we didn't know. We're trying to make an anthem, trying to make something very, epic that you would hear in a stadium, that you would hear in a movie possibly. And
That you will also
so,
hear on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven, myself, Preston, and my partner in crime, Long Island Raised, Elm City made, EZ Blues is in the building. Alma is with us on the show. Alma, please continue.
yeah, we want to make an anthem that, you could really live with. So in writing the hook, we
Mhm.
look like two crazy people. He's writing on his whiteboard that he has, and I'm over there pacing in his room, like thinking of different words. And it just clicked. And once we got it, we were like jumping up and down, like, okay, like let's keep going, let's keep going. We
Mhm.
just look like two crazy people, two mad scientists,
Right.
putting the potions together and making an explosion.
Hmm. I like that. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
I like your music video. If I butcher the pronunciation, please correct me.
You're good.
Rudo, is that how you say
R-
it?
Rudo, yeah.
Yeah,
Rudo.
it
Rudo,
feels like
yeah.
you're telling a story in here. I see a little kid just inspiring to be a wrestler. I'm just going back and forth and multitasking right now. Just
Yes,
listening to your
sir.
great conversation and just the video in progress right now. It seems you're telling a great story. How much fun you had making that video?
So much fun.
Hmm.
I have a couple other music videos, and you know, I've done music videos in the past, before I was seen Alma. I used to go by the name A Fresh.
Okay.
So, this is kind of like a different version of that. But those music videos I at the time very happy with, but they just seem like your typical rapper music
Right.
video. You're walking, you're talking to the camera, you're
Hmm.
rapping at the camera, and those are cool. But after you do a few of those, you want something more. You want like a storyline. You want something else. So in making that song, Rudo is in Lucha Libre. It's the bad guy, the heel.
Okay.
You have rudos, and then you have like technicals, which are the good
Mhm.
guys, the baby faces.
Hmm.
So I wanted this to sound like my heel turn. I
Right.
wanted to, say stuff with my chest out. I wanted to really get the point across.
Right.
In the first line of my verse, I say, I'm the best there is, the best there was, and never will be, taking from
Right.
Bret
Right.
Hart.
Hmm.
But, when I say that, I mean it. I'm the best. So I had to really, the video itself is funny enough inspired by Nacho Libre, the
Hmm.
Of
movie.
course.
Right.
Cool.
I had the black and gold mask. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, I feel like Ramses,
Right.
from the Nacho
Yeah.
Libre. Yeah. So that's what I wanted. That's kind of where I take the inspiration from in the video.
Hmm.
There's some parts in there where at the beginning, the guy he's telling me, oh, Sinalma is number one, Sinalma is the best. That's
Mhm.
taken from Nacho Libre, where they're massaging Ramses and telling him he's the best, he's number one. There's nobody better. So
Hmm.
I really wanted it to be that kind of like a just showing how strong I can come off on a
Right.
song.
Very
And
inspiring.
lyrically, I'm spitting fast on that one. That's a hard one to perform.
See, it's so interesting because like knowing Wata the way that I know Wata, and
Mhm.
kind of getting to learn to know you, I kind of see this whole thing play out in like a rock opera type of way, where this song is the song that you guys unite on, and then there's like a little bit of friction, and there's like a hair versus mask match. You know what I mean?
That'd
But
be crazy.
that nobody that you get the dusty finish, so nobody wins.
Yeah.
Nobody wins, but you two are now have more respect for each other, and now you're even more powerful of a superhero team. And so that's like the next thing. And I see and again, knowing Wata the way they know Wata, I see a whole comic book, um, you know,
Oh yeah.
being
Oh
brought up
yeah.
through this in the whole 9 yards.
Oh
So
man, we
I
have
just
a lot of cool stuff in the works. We wanna start cutting promos, doing Instagram
mhm,
videos. I know he got that Carlito vibe going with him. He got the hair like him, Puerto
mhm.
Rican like him. So, I know he wants to definitely dive into that. And I do too. I mean, I want to do, some Mankind vibes when he was first coming out as Mankind. Want
Nice.
to, start cutting promos like that. Who else? I don't know. I mean, Ray was never that good at cutting promos. He's
No.
not the best
No,
talker.
no, he's
He
not.
lets his
He's not.
his wrestling do the talking for him.
Yeah,
But Eddie Guerrero, man,
definitely.
passion that guy had.
Hands down.
Want
Hmm.
to start cutting promos like that.
There you go.
Nah, but I do say one thing. I say Ray and matches was a great storyteller.
Oh yeah, the best.
Match
Even
wise,
I mean,
definitely, yeah.
even in his later stages of his career, he's still going. Like
Oh yeah,
Right.
he's having
hands down.
these great matches still. I think he could still go. I know that they had a few matches before Andrade left,
Hmm.
Hmm.
but I really want to see them have that like full,
Right.
like just
I don't think we'll see
lucha
it.
libre.
I
You
don't
don't
think we'll
think
see
so?
it. I don't think we'll see it at all. We'll probably
Eh,
see it, but not within the top promotion in the world. We'll probably see it
You're right. You're
probably in
right.
an indie wrestling, and it'll probably be a match of the year candidate, but we will not see it in the big stage, unfortunately.
I
Just
want
in
to so bad.
my personal opinion, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like
Yeah.
Andrade is like he's very underrated in my
Oh,
opinion. I
super.
think
Hmm.
he's an amazing wrestler.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
he has the skill and agility of Rey Mysterio with like
Hmm.
the hard hitting passion of Eddie Guerrero. Like he's this perfect mashup of them two, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Yes.
And he just doesn't get the credit that I think he deserves. He went to AEW and they didn't do much with him there. I was
Hmm.
hopeful that they would. But things happen.
In your personal opinion, just being a fan of wrestling and hip hop, what are the similarities between hip hop and wrestling fans? Just to you, because
The
a little bit more.
fans,
Yeah, you can even like give
um,
some dislikes or something like that when it comes to similarities. You can go right ahead.
I think wrestling fans I think they kind of coincide a lot of the times. There's a
Mm,
lot of
Hmm.
hip hop, wrestling fans. You see a lot of like hip hop culture in wrestling
you do.
nowadays as well. Starting, I mean, I'm sure it started before this, but like back when Enzo and Cass were in WWE, Enzo coming out, well, rapping his own theme song,
Hmm.
as well as like John Cena. I guess it goes back further, right?
Yeah.
John Cena
Yeah.
had the hip hop gimmick, Dr. Thugonomics, amazing theme song. That original Thugonomics one, it's
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
best. And he had the whole album. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
crazy. Bro went, did he go gold?
He
Yeah.
went platinum. It just went
He
platinum.
went, did he go plat? It went platinum
It
in
just
my,
went platinum, and I think
It
probably like last year.
I for
just
sure
went
helped with
platinum.
that. Yeah, I for sure, I deserve a platinum room for that because I helped for sure. Like there's you have John Cena on a song with Murs, which is like an underground
Right,
LA
which
rap.
is
Yeah.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
ridiculous. Produced by Ninth Wonder. Like
Hmm.
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Holding his own.
That
Yeah.
was
Holding his
before
own.
everything. That was before all the success he was having. Like he was like
Exactly.
starting out. So like, it was really
Yeah,
cool just to see a young Cena just before the prime. So it makes
definitely.
you just happy just to see a little bit of that journey and to be with the West Coast favorite like Murs. Um,
Hmm.
Exactly.
any West Coast legends and everything that you have taught to since you've been doing this music game for a long time? Or
Um, not. I mean, I haven't really like ran into many of them.
okay,
Um, I think that's just more on my side.
that's fine. All right,
I think my style of music that I do
right.
doesn't coincide so much with the legends. It's kind
Hmm.
of more,
Hmm.
new generation.
I understand. Okay.
So I get a little bit nervous, like kind of trying to perform, open up for those type of people.
Mhm.
I just don't know if the crowds will react. But I do. Can y'all hear that? Sorry.
No, we're fine. We hear your great
Okay,
voice.
all right, cool,
Yeah.
cool, cool, cool.
We're good.
I'm just making sure.
Nah, appreciate
But
it.
yeah, no, like ran into there's this rapper out here. His name's Fora.
Mhm.
I don't know if y'all have ever heard any
Hmm.
of his stuff, but coming up when I was like in high school, he was the biggest underground artist out there because he
Mhm.
had that underground sound of like 90s hip hop sound that was pretty big at the time, around like 2012. But he also had the appeal of like a Drake, J. Cole,
Mhm.
Kendrick, which were
Right.
bigger artists at the time.
Right.
I opened up for him when I was in high school, and it was an experience. That was a big learning experience of how to deal with these promoters and how to deal with these shows. Because,
Hmm.
in this game, not for nothing, there's a lot of pay to play spots.
Of
You
course
got to
there is.
pay, yeah, everyone does it. You got to pay a certain amount of money, and they'll let you play like a 15-minute set. So in high school, scrounge up a little bit of money that I had. I pay the promoter, show up to the show. He tells me, and I'm excited, right? Because at the
Of course.
time, not only
Yeah.
is this, my first time kind of performing outside of a school setting, like a talent show or whatever, like, but this is also my one of my favorite artists as well at the time.
Right.
Mhm.
Go in there, there's a huge line all the way around the block in Pasadena. I don't even think the place is
Hmm.
still there anymore, but there's a huge line around the block. Bunch of kids. I'm like, oh wow, this is gonna be a great show. Be a lot of
Right.
exposure for me. I get there, they're like, hey bud, you're going on first. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that's fine. You're gonna go on in 5 minutes. I'm like, hey, you guys haven't let anybody into this venue yet. Like, are you guys gonna start letting people in?
Mhm.
They're like, we'll try and let a few people in. I was like, what are what are you talking about? A few people? There's
Right.
150 people at least outside right now. Like, why aren't you guys letting them in? So whatever. I go on stage. They're like, hey, 15 minutes, no more than that. I was like, all right, that's fine. Got my set. I already had it down to 15 minutes. I do my songs for maybe like the 15 people that they let in because I was bugging.
Right.
um, and I get off stage and whatever. I perform for them. I do my best. I get off stage and the next person up there freestyling for like 5 minutes, doing a bunch of
Hmm.
songs, like almost a 30-minute set. I was like, yo, what is going on? Like,
He
you
paid more.
kidding me? The next person after that doing like covers of Sean Kingston off key. And I'm just like,
Hmm.
what is going on here, bro? Like, what what did I sign up for? Like, how did I go on first? And these guys are up here just for a bigger crowd,
Right.
Hmm.
whatever. So I get a little upset. Me and my friends, we leave, go into the parking lot, and we're about to drive out of the parking lot. And I tell my friend, I'm like, hey, stop the car. He's like, whoa, what happened? Did you forget something? I'm like, nah, this guy Fora is right there. I just want to talk to him. Like, I'm not mad at him. It's not his fault. He's
Yeah.
not the
Word. It's
promoter of
yeah.
the
Of
Of
show.
course. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want
course.
to talk to him, speak to him, like meet him real quick.
Mhm.
Because, like I said, favorite artist at the time. So I get out the car. Luckily, there was a parking spot right there. The full parking lot, but
Mhm.
there was a parking spot right there where they were.
Of course.
And I get out the car. I talk to him. I let him know what happened. He's like, "Man, I'm so sorry about that. Like, just hang out with us, and I can't promise that I can let you perform again, but when I go on stage, like, just come with us." I was like, "Oh my, like,
Right.
are you serious?" Little
Yeah. Yeah.
16-year-old
Word.
me is like, "Oh my gosh, like, this is biggest artist at the time,
Mhm.
in my opinion." And we're chopping it up. He's kind of giving me, teaching me how the game goes,
Right.
letting me know his experiences, understanding that I was upset, but like trying to let me know, like, hey man, like, you're good. Like, I'm sorry this happened to you, but let this be a learning experience. I'm
Mhm.
sorry that my team treated you this way, but
Right.
where, I got you, don't trip. So we talked that whole night, and last minute, like a couple people before him,
Mm-hmm.
somebody backs out. Like they
There
can't
you
make it to the
go.
show.
Oh.
And he's like, "Hey, bro, if you run back to that venue right now,
Mm-hmm.
you go up there and do a couple songs." I was like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah, bro, but you have to go now." So we book it down to the venue, which is, a block away. I do my two songs, full crowd. It's crazy, a lot of energy, and you know, the rest is history. He just him being so nice and being so welcoming. I think that's the type of thing that I always carry with me, especially at shows now, like meeting people and when people come and talk to me, not being standoffish, like welcoming them in and
Right.
hearing what they have to say, hearing their story. I take that with me a lot. But yeah, I mean that getting that experience at 16 was, I mean, you can't pay for that. Like,
Well, also let's not take away from how you handled that experience as well,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of other people, even especially at the age of 16, would have done donuts in that parking lot, peeled off, and flipped him the flying bird. Let's be
right,
real.
right,
You understood, that it was had nothing to do with him, which to have the foresight in that is incredible. Especially by the time you would have seen, I'd have seen the cover artist being flat, and I'd have lost my spit. Um,
I did. I think that was my last straw.
yeah, yeah. So but you had the maturity to go and speak to this man as a man, address, and not just whine at him. You
Right,
came up to him, you thanked him for the opportunity, you thanked him for how he did influence you, and and that when you're an artist on the come up, when you're coming up in that aspect of it, please bring that energy. Because how
for
many
sure.
of these conferences and stuff that I've been to, that I've seen, like the artists that are trying to fighting so hard and they're so passionate about it, they let their passion get way too involved, and they start screaming and yelling for no apparent reason, and now nobody was going to work with you. No one.
Yeah, at the end of the day, this is a music business.
Right.
Like as much as we are artists and we are passionate about our craft, unfortunately, this is a business and attitude is everything. Like you can't just come up screaming at people and, you know, trying to get your message across. You have to get it across the right way. So I came up, my parents raised me and my family raised me, just have respect. Respect is earned, but you got to give it as well. You gotta
Hmm.
you gotta come with the right attitude and just really be humble. Like that's what it's all about. Just being humble and having respect for everybody that you come across. Some people will show you why they don't deserve it,
Oh yeah.
but but
And especially in
off the
this
first
game in
meeting,
particular, the fact that you met this man and he still was able to to treat you with welcome. That's huge in this business as well, because there's a whole bunch of
for
people
sure,
who don't give a darn if you ain't making them a dime.
for sure,
And that's
for
just the
sure.
reality of it all. That's right. That's gonna be on the next shirt. I don't give a darn if you don't making me a dime. You
There we
know,
go.
but
But yeah, man, I
it's so,
mean,
yeah.
it's all respect.
Of course.
No,
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely. I think Easy, you're about to say something.
Well, no, I just wanted to super highlight that. Like, I'm very big
Yeah.
in giving the roses now,
Hmm.
and you handled that situation really good. And you're such a humble individual. You weren't even giving yourself the credit for handling that situation, that good. I don't know if your team around you hasn't given you that credit yet, or that's something that's already happened and you've just evolved past it. But sir, you handled that like a pro.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I've been in situations where, people want to try and shut you down. Um, an interview I did back when, still younger, I was like 19, 20. Um, they brought me in, to review my music in front of
Hmm.
me, which that's a humbling process in itself.
Yeah, I bet. I
Um,
imagine.
but I try and bring the best songs that I had to them.
Hmm.
But these guys had more of a, I don't want to be disrespectful and say, but they had like an old head perspective on music. They're very, Wu Tang,
Right.
um, Mobb Deep, like 90s
Very
hip hop,
1990s.
very
Yeah, well,
1990s,
Yeah,
which is fine. I love that music. That's
of
what I
course.
studied coming up.
Yeah,
I still
definitely, most
listen to it
definitely.
to this day.
Hmm.
But that's at the time, especially, that's not the type of music I was making. I'm trying to have more of a modern sound with
mhm,
the same energy and bars as, a 90s hip hop rapper.
right.
I'm trying to be the bridge that connects the two. Um,
Well,
I played them my music, and
mhm,
they weren't one of the hosts wasn't big on, my sound.
Hmm.
And I felt
right.
like he was trying to get under my skin,
Well, of
which
course.
it's very hard, to get under my skin. Like it's
Yeah, you're
not,
like a teddy bear, bro. I'll be honest with you.
but not even that. It's just like, I know how to hold my own, but I'm
I
not
got
gonna
you.
ever let it get to that point.
Right.
I like to talk back. Um, but he's the whole show. I knew what he was trying to do. As soon as I got there, he was already before the microphones, anything was on. I knew what was happening. Um, and I just handled it, to the best of my ability. I was like, I respect your opinion. I'll take your criticism and I'll implement it. I mean, I want as much as I want a bigger audience to like and listen to my music, I still want, the older generation to enjoy it as
Right.
well. I come up from the generation of Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole,
Right.
Big Sean, Drake, where these guys had the respect of both generations because of
Mhm.
their lyrical ability and their content. So, of course, I want an old head perspective. Like, I want them to like my music as much as the younger kids.
Mm.
I want everyone to enjoy it. So, I handled it, I took it for the 30 minutes, 45 minutes I was there. And at the end of it, he was just like, you know what, man? I wanted to not like your music so bad, but you just handle yourself
Right.
the right way. Your attitude is, I can't be mad at you. Like you just have
I
this
can't be
energy
mad at you
where
either on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Preston, and my partner in crime, Long Island Raised, Elm City made EZ Blues, and Alma. Please continue. My apologies.
you're so smooth with that, bro.
I try.
um yeah, no, he was just saying attitude is everything and you have the right attitude. Like,
Hmm.
I feel like maybe that night I turned somebody into a fan and that, that
Right.
means the world to me. So
Right.
for sure.
No,
I've always
no,
kind of
that's
had
that's
that energy.
no, that's 100%, man. Like that's for real. And no matter what in this industry, you're always going to have people who it's difficult to predict what's going to come next, but it's really easy to look at what worked before.
Right.
And they want to stay in that type of aspect because it's low risk. And if you
Right.
can be low risk in this industry, that's awesome. But it's low risk, low reward. You weren't trying to be, the next Kendrick Lamar. You're trying to be the first in Alma.
Right.
And
Right.
that's really, and again, wear that as a championship trophy there, man. Like seriously, like take a little bit. I know you're very relaxed right now. You're having a grand old time and all that kind of stuff. But I hope you have that chip. I hope this is part of that chip on your shoulder
Oh,
because
of course.
you're not like anybody else, and there's no reason to be you be unapologetically not like anybody else. Because this is who you are. This is what you provide, and from that and that alone, yes, you might not get the quick upswing of views and listens, but the views and listens you get will be solid. These will be people that are
Yeah.
going to invest in who you are. These are the people that are going to buy those pins, that are going to show up to those shows. These are the people that are going to, when they run into you, they're like, "Oh, yo, this is the dope." There you
They're
go.
gonna buy the hats.
They go buy the hats. They go buy the hat. Exactly. You know
Yeah.
that's the reality of it all. So again, we pour no salt in anyone else's hustle. That's what works for them, and that's convenient. And it's a safe move to try to sound like somebody else.
Right.
And I understand in the financial risk in the financial world that is today, safety is a commodity.
Hmm.
But I'm looking for
But
longevity.
safety ain't never landed the homecoming queen, bro.
That's
That's all I'm
right.
saying. All I'm
That's
saying.
right. That's right. For longevity, man, I'll take the long path. It'll be even sweeter when I get to,
Of course.
the heights
Definitely.
that I've always imagined myself being at. So, I'll take the long road for sure.
Nothing can stop
Respect.
you. Nothing can stop me, man. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit,
baby.
Easy Blues.
There you go.
You feel that sky's the limit as well?
No, that's how you have to, like, when you're putting something out there from a creative point of view, you have to believe in it and love it so much it's like a child.
Right.
And no matter what, and every good parent, and I say every good parent will say this, you know, no matter how flawed my child is still perfect to me.
Right.
You know, and that's one of those key things, you know, and that's no matter how flawed this, and for some of the music that I make, it's supposed to be flawed. It's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable. You know, there's supposed to be a chord in there that just sounds a little bit off because it's supposed to, pardon my French, piss you off, you know, because you're supposed to be angry, get mad, change the world, you know. But unfortunately, as I go off on my little tangent and we're about to explode into the world, the producers are starting to bring in that Apollo curtain. And they're saying we only have a couple more minutes. And I want to give all this time to you, Alma. I want you to tell people how they can connect with you, how they can buy the hats, how they can get the mask, how they can listen to the music, and how we can further support everything that is Alma.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok at Alma Music. That's SINALMA Music. You can find my music on all streaming platforms: Spotify, Apple, Tidal, anywhere you find music. Alma. I got a new project I'm working on called West Coastin'. A lot of LA inspired hip hop beats, hip hop songs. So that's gonna be coming out sometime in April or May. I got new singles out right now, Cold World and Whoa. Go run up those streams, man.
Samama.
And sorry, we're on the Luchadores tour right now.
Oh, hell
coming
yeah,
to a city
man.
near
Definitely.
you, headed to the east. We're gonna be in Lawrence, Massachusetts.
There we go.
We're doing shows in Connecticut, New York, Rhode Island, and we got these pins. They're $15. Me and Huata, they're gonna help us definitely keep this tour going for as long as possible.
There we go. Alma, thank you so much for being a part of the program. We appreciate you, myself, Preston, and Mr. EZ Blues on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, New Haven.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, brother.
Hands up to the cosmos. See the light of bad but never lost hope. Fighting for a future that is not broke. Luchadores jumping off the top rope. 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 Canto por canto les doy mi historia. Astronauta de otro planeta. Lucha por lucha siento la victoria. Anotando libertad en mi libreta, exprimiendo mi cabeza. Pesadillas que me pesan. Depresión y la tristeza. Depresión y la tristeza. Por favor, dame un segundo para decir lo que yo siento. Ando por ahí viviendo en el momento, buscando mi espacio en mi propio cuento. En el banco ni un puto peso, pero mis sueños no se mueren, aunque las críticas me duelen. Soy el único que puede, soy el campeón. Hands up to the cosmos. See the light of bad but never lost hope. Fighting for a future that is not broke. Luchadores jumping off the top rope. Luchadores jumping off the top rope. Luchadores jumping off the top rope. Luchadores jumping off the top rope.
Hey, who the champ now? I see him running whenever I pull the mask out. Getting this money so I have something to pass down. So don't put no contract in front of me unless we about to max out. Ask how I do it, I tell you all how I pass out. You try to put in the work I did, then you pass out. Black out, it didn't go how you planned out. Difference is when times got tough, I didn't back down. And this a lonely road, luchando toda mi vida, mi estilo es como Cody Rose, terminando la historia nunca número 2, comiendo bien, no más frijol y arroz. Yeah, step into the ring, step between the ropes. I may not be the greatest, but I'm getting close. When that bell ring and we standing toe to toe, I'ma show the whole world where I'ma be the next to go.
Hands up to the cosmos. Seen a lot of bad but never lost hope. Fighting for a future that is not broke. Luchadores jumping up the top rope. 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 Luchadores jumping up the top rope.